goes in when we standing on business. I'm a big stepper, underground methods, top-notch hoes.
Did you know that FAFO is the same as when you let kids touch the stove? Because you can only tell them so many times, don't do it, it's hot, don't touch it, it's hot, don't touch it, until they actually touch it, and then they don't touch it again. That's pretty much what FAFO is. We're treating them like toddlers.
Hi, my name is Leandro. You guys might know me by this video. And I just want to say something to the Latino population who keeps coming to TikTok and saying, no, calling out Americans, and specifically Black Americans, and being like, why aren't you guys standing up for us? We did it in Black Lives Movement. As an Afro-Latino, myself, we have to hold accountability for our actions. 60% of our people voted for that guy, voted for these deportations. Many of your family members voted for this guy.
60% of Latinos voted for Trump in this election. And to think that my vote was going towards protecting my people. The fact that I was absolutely horrified at the thought of Trump becoming president because of the effects that it will have on our people. I voted for those Latinos that don't have a voice in this country. For the Latinos that are the backbone of this country and don't receive shit. I voted for the Latinos that have been nothing but good people in this country, paying taxes and have no criminal records. Only to find out that it's our own people turning against us. I am truly disgusted.
And let's be very serious. Latinos voted for Trump because they want to be as close to whiteness as possible. It's because they are anti-black.
So we have a discourse going on between, I think majority like Mexicans and the Black community. And I just have to say to my Mexican people who are asking why the Black people are not like protesting with us or whatever. Why would they? 92% of their women voted for Kamala. 80% of their community of men voted for Kamala. 60% of Latinos voted for Kamala. And I believe the majority were women and the majority were Mexican. But that number is crazy, considering that Hispanics and Latinos are becoming the fastest growing minority. Like, we are going to be the majority soon. And it's crazy for me to think that number was so fucking low. And now you're asking where the Black community is when they're the ones who tried to avoid this. Hello? They tried to avoid this. We all tried to tell you guys, even within my own community. I'm talking to you guys because I did the work. And I know other Latinas who did the work. We were on calls every fucking week. We were writing postcards. We were making phone calls. And you guys were probably nowhere in sight, my Latino community. And now you're begging the Black community to come help us, to come save us. No! I think it's time we learn to save ourselves and let the Black community rest, because my God, have they not done enough fucking work. So yeah. Where were we during the George Floyd protests or the Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, when their community was getting killed? Where the fuck were we? Because I do not remember seeing any Latin people out there. Now, maybe there was one or two of y'all. I don't remember seeing any Mexicans out there. So why should they put their time, their energy, all of this into helping a group of people who didn't give a shit about them when they needed it?
Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Robi Masaga. Today I have a very important discussion that I need to have with you guys. Something real is happening right now in the Latino community. So here's the situation. Latinos are calling out other Latinos for voting for Trump in the last election. And what's even more surprising is that it's not just outsiders pointing fingers. It's Latinos themselves holding their own people accountable. Some are finally realizing that their votes played a huge role in what's happening today.
Okay, so there's a lot of discourse right now around Latino content creators, Latino influencers that are choosing to stay silent during this time as our community is being targeted, as our community is being attacked. And I have to be honest and say that I am not surprised. And I'm not surprised for multiple reasons, which I want to go ahead and share with you. Leading up to November and what happened, I saw a lot of Latinos pop up and support him. A lot of Latinos say things like, well, my family came here legally, so everyone else should. I saw a lot of Latinos say things like, well, they're only targeting the criminals. When now you're hearing about reports of multiple people being rounded up or at least questioned that are not even criminals. You can look that up for yourself. I also heard of a lot of Latinos, frankly, just outright saying things like, it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter to them because it's not impacting them. And that, y'all, is rooted in privilege. The ability to not care, or the choice, frankly, to not care about another group, especially of a marginalized group that is hurting, the ability to not care because it doesn't impact you, the ability to not care how the results went because it doesn't impact you, or you think it doesn't impact you, because we'll get there. There's privilege there. But what I also want to go ahead and mention, why I'm also not surprised that things went in this direction and now we find ourselves here. And now Latinos are like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't think that this would happen. Girl, bye. Like, we knew, and we tried to warn you, but here we are. Latinos, we have an anti-blackness issue in our community. I grew up with it. I grew up with family members who were not friendly towards black people or said things around darkness or blackness. There's machismo in our community that is still very rampant. This need to dominate over women. So machismo, racism, the disinformation and misinformation that is an issue in our community. So all of that together, I knew, and I said this months ago, that it would lead to, or it could lead to, people not voting for her. And here we freaking are, okay? So I'm not surprised. And also internalized racism, the proximity or the need to feel like you want to be white, even though you will never be white. Never. It won't be a thing. All that comes together and you have what we're going through now. So I'm not surprised. But if you do want to have conversations about this type of stuff, follow for more, because I'm down to talk.
This isn't just some internet argument, it's serious. Some Latinos are coming out publicly telling their fellow Latinos, this is on us. We made a mistake. That's something you don't see often in politics. People actually admitting that they made the wrong choice. Now, let's rewind for a second. Before the election, there were endless warnings. People were shouting from the rooftops, warning the Latino community about what would happen if Trump got back into the office. Project 2025 wasn't something hidden secret. It was out in the open for everyone to see. People knew exactly what Trump and his team were planning. Yet, many Latinos still chose to support him. And now, they are seeing the consequences of that decision play out in the real time. But here's the part that's really standing out. This isn't just about regret. It's about accountability. Latinos are calling out each other, saying we did this to ourselves. Some are even admitting that they ignored the warnings because they didn't think it would affect them personally. They thought they were safe. They believed Trump's policies would only target undocumented immigrants from other groups, not their own people. But now reality is settling in. Deportations are happening, families are being separated, and some Latinos are starting to understand that voting for Trump was not just a personal choice. It was a choice that affected their entire community. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't about attacking anyone. It's not about stirring up hatred or causing division. It's about recognizing the truth. It's about understanding the consequences of political decisions. Trump never hid his stance on immigration. He wasn't subtle about it. From the very beginning, he made it clear that he wanted strict immigration policies, more deportations, and a stronger border. He talked about it constantly. And yet, some Latinos believed that his policies wouldn't come back to hurt them or their loved ones. But now, they are facing a harsh reality. Some of the very same people who cheered for Trump's presidency are now watching their family members get detained. Some of the Latinos who believe they were part of the good immigrants category are realizing that to Trump and his administration, there is no such thing. They are seeing firsthand that their votes had real consequences. And what's even more surprising is how some of them are responding to this situation. Instead of just blaming Trump, instead of pointing fingers at politicians or the system, they are turning to each other and saying, we messed up. That level of accountability is rare. It's not something you see every day, but it's happening right now in the Latino community. And I have to ask, why did some Latino think they would be exempt from these policies? Why did they believe that Trump wouldn't turn on them too? Was it denial? Was it belief that assimilation would protect them? Or did they simply not think ahead? Because this isn't the first time we've seen a community vote against its own interest. Throughout history, we've seen marginalized groups support leaders who ultimately worked against them. And every time, the outcome is the same. The question is, what's next? Will this be a lesson for the future? Will Latinos as a community come together, stand up for their rights, and ensure that they never again vote for policies that harm them? Will they continue to call each other out and hold each other accountable when it truly matters? Because that's what really matters here. Not just recognizing the mistake, but making sure it doesn't happen again. And honestly, this moment is bigger than just Latinos. It's a lesson for everyone. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for every voter, every community, every person who thinks vote doesn't have real consequences. This is why it's so important to pay attention to what politicians say before they get elected. It's why we can't ignore the warning signs. It's why we have to think beyond ourselves and consider the bigger picture. At the end of the day, politics isn't just about personal preference. It's about policies that affect real people's lives. And the Latino community is seeing firsthand what happens when political decisions are made without thinking about the long-term impact. Anyway, guys, I want to hear from you. Have you seen Latinos speaking about this? Have you noticed the shift in how some of them are talking about their vote for Trump? Do you think this will change how the community approaches future elections? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, guys, and also remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, stay safe.